from start to finish. I thought we played some incredible football. The movement, the goals were absolutely brilliant. Some really high class performances throughout the team. Really played a good side when we play like that. We have to be patient, we make mistakes, but the football we played was absolutely fantastic. No, I don't think anybody here, it could have been a bit more. The goalkeepers had some good saves from them, and we were a bit sloppy with our finishing, but other than that I couldn't ask for any more. I think the work rate was great. I think the midfield lads, I thought John Nolan as well, Teddy Bishop, Only Dizelle were fantastic. The football they played was
Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome into your first Ipswich Town live show, the flagship Ipswich Town podcast, whatever you want to call it. Call me the granddaddy of live shows. You blink and suddenly there's one everywhere. But welcome into this one. I am Martin, your host, and that of course was Mr. Paul Lambert, Ipswich Town manager. After a convincing, I say that without any hesitation for once, convincing 3-0 victory in the Carabao Cup over Bristol Rovers. Of course, before we do get into today's show, we want you to get involved. We want you involved. So if you've got a comment, drop it in the chat box. If you've got something to say and you feel, you know what, forget you 3 win bags, I want on the show, then come on the show. Ask for a link, I'll send you a link, and you can appear via visual, which is like this, or just the same as the radio, through audio. But it's been a fantastic week for myself. Some big things happening for the show, and it was rounded off lovely with a convincing 3-0 win. And Nick Muller is leading the way with a late kickoff again, Martin. It was like 30 seconds. It was 30 seconds. I'm not having that. Right, let's get into today's show. Let's welcome in our first contributor. Let's welcome in this man here, the man that causes many an avalanche. Would say the best thing about you is that entrance. How are you doing?
It is a good entrance. I do like it. It's all downhill from there, isn't it, Mark?
Well, it is for you.
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
Easy on the mark. Easy on the mark. It's
oh, yeah, sorry.
Easy on the mark.
Yeah.
How are you? You well? Come on, talk to me.
Very good. I'm very good. Thanks. I mean, I tweeted this morning. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Ipswich Town have won a game. It's got a bit cloudy here in Essex. I won't lie to you. It's got a little bit cloudy, but we still got sunshine in our hearts. And Ipswich Town win. First time in 6 months or whatever.
Well, yes, and we will get into that with a little bit later on. But it's a fantastic win nonetheless. And Paul Lambert setting the scene for the podcast quite nicely there, for the live show quite nicely. Convincing win. Good patterns of play. Happiness all over.
It was a joy to watch, wasn't it? It was really good. I mean, I know Lambert said it was incredible. I mean, I'm not quite sure it was Barcelona Nou Camp levels, but it was great to watch. It was very entertaining for us, and certainly was a level above what we remember last season to be. We're on the back of those defeats and not playing very well and no confidence inside. And we look like we had what I keep going on about on the pod here. We look like we had a winning mindset. A winning mindset.
We certainly did. When there's a happiness, there's not much to talk about, some would say. So we need to bring in a little bit of doom and gloom, a little bit of realism, a little bit of crunch, some would say.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Cruncher, what's going on?
Man in demand. My phone's going off. I'm wanted on the radio. BBC Radio Suffolk in the morning. There you go.
Well, of course you are. Of course you are.
Anyway,
let's not leading contributors right here. What are you talking about?
Look, it was convincing.
Well, two.
It was convincing, wasn't it, yesterday? But it wasn't incredible. It wasn't incredible, was it?
I would say
it wasn't. It wasn't incredible.
It was good. It was good.
It was good.
It
was good, but it was Bristol Rovers, and they were, like I tweeted you last night, Matt. You were saying about Toto. I could have played centre half yesterday.
Shout out Toto. I've been a bit scathing on Toto on this
Yeah.
pod, as everyone knows, but I've got to give credit where credit due. It's great. That through ball.
Do you want it?
Through ball.
Do you want
Fantastic.
it? Do you want it?
Who's got the ball down in front of us. And Ciala with a good ball forward to Drynan, who's onside inside the area. The angle isn't good. He plays it into the centre. Has to be a goal, and is. It's Freddie Sears at the far post who converts beyond Van Stappershoff. That was really good football from Ipswich Town. A fine assist from Drynan on his competitive debut, and Freddie was not going to miss. Ipswich Town lead Bristol Road.
Good goal, that.
Toto threading the needle.
Toto.
Oh,
The issue with Toto, and Rob, who was summarising yesterday on our Matchday Ticket live show, said it rather well at half time. You get the sublime from Toto like that, and then about 5, 10, 15 minutes later, he was caught asleep and their striker came through for a shot on goal. You don't seem to ever get the middle ground. 9 times out of 10, he's great, but at one time, it's normally always a goal with Toto.
Yeah. We've seen it before. You don't want unpredictability in your defence there. Adam Flatt's back. Look, Martin. This is called Toto Baresi.
Baresi. Jordan Hockley going up. 100 points, 100 goals. Nick Miller.
It's been
Still have not seen those vouchers out yet. Don't know what taking some. The printers.
Don't worry. No, the vouchers, you've got to go and collect them now. You can collect them. You can collect them from the club. They messaged out, I think it was Friday. They're available to collect from the ticket office, and the ones that aren't collected, obviously they're going to post out. I know. Could you? It just makes it look. Let's not be negative today. Well, we can be, but
don't start about this whole stop complaining malarkey, because it's getting as bad as scapegoat. Just because you're having a bad negative word doesn't mean it's unneeded. Like that's there. We've got so many fans from further afield. Why are we doing collection only? Like it's not 1998.
Yeah, I know. It's frustrating.
Andrew Laws, hi guys, enjoy your content. It's a question for you. Dozell, fantastic balls going forward. The real life are a pass, but who trains the team defensively? That would be Stuart Taylor. That'd be Matt Gill. There's not so much specialised training at Ipswich Town, is it? It's more generalised training, and it'd be more. It's not like Man City, for example, where you've got a particular coach that does defensive work. I mean, Mick Mills, was it Mick Mills or was it Terry? Was it Butcher that was coming in to do some? Butcher was doing some work, wasn't he, with the club? So Lee Brown on Facebook, still not sure about Toto, and Craig Vieira. Let's not get carried away. The result was poor. Where do you want to start today, boys? Because there's so much to get through. I've got so many clips to play.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Where do you think we should lead today's show from?
Should we get the goats out of the way?
I've got a goat. I've got a goat.
I think we should kick off the cruncher.
I'm not happy.
All right. Okay. Oh well, hang on.
Right. So this week's goat. I'll call him the goat. Flynn Downes. Obviously, look, he's had his head turned, and I don't think we can sit here and say he's not going to leave. We know he's going to leave, but I think there's a right way to go about it. Obviously, he's just got a new agent, but he's not covered himself in any light this week where his head's not right. I can't play.
Not having it.
Not
having it. I know where you're going with it. I'm not having it. Not having it.
Yeah, but I know your opinion on it. I just think it's poor. As a club, he's been paid for the last 6 months. He hasn't played any football, and now all of a sudden he's saying, I can't play. My head's not right. Give me some time off. If I went to my boss tomorrow and said, the Jockey Club in Newmarket are after me, my head's not right, I won't be in for a couple of days, I'll be down the road.
I wasn't expecting
I would be down the road. It's like me and Matt being headhunted for other Ipswich Town podcasts and us coming to you, Martin, and saying
there aren't any.
Well, yeah, we could say that. We are the number one flagship show. But I could say to you, no, I want this week off. My head's not right. You're going to go and get someone else on, aren't you?
Well, I've tried many times, but look, let's be straight with this, right? Flynn Downes is a young man with the world on his shoulders. He's also got a career to protect. And let's be honest, if he goes to Crystal Palace, what cup is he most likely to feature in? It's going to be the Carabao Cup. So you don't be cup tie playing silly old Bristol Rovers. No disrespect to Bristol Rovers.
I think he'd be loaned out straight away anyway. I don't think he'd play for him this season. He'd be straight out on loan to a championship team.
But again, Carabao Cup would be a game if you're on the periphery of a championship squad where you're going to make your mark. And equally, we don't look at Luke Chambers yesterday, right? Good game from Chambo, went off injured. Now put that in on Flynn Downes. Good game from Flynn Downes, goes off injured.
He could get injured in training. He could get injured in training tomorrow.
He ain't training.
I don't believe.
He'll be doing light work. He ain't doing no contact sport.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next Sunday if he's still at the club and he doesn't play next Sunday.
I did my poll. Will we ever see Flynn Downes in an Ipswich shirt again? 58% said we wouldn't. He'll be doing a selfie at Selhurst.
I'll say get rid of him now. Look, he's a great player, Flynn, and I've got a lot of time for him. He's gone about it totally the wrong way. Get him out of the club. Get that deal done. And let's not have this hanging over us like another Martin Waghorn situation. We need everybody focused on the end goal this season. The end goal this season is winning promotion and finishing in that top 2 of this league. We don't need no distractions. Let's not worry about the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup. The league is the priority. I want everyone focused who can play, not someone who's not got the head right. Downes, get out. You're not for me.
It's funny how we've had all this momentum off the back of the rumour that he has new representation. He has a new agent. But yeah, I agree. Are we just delaying the inevitable? But at the moment, though, as Mick Mills quite rightly said on the broadcast yesterday, Palace have not met the valuation that Ipswich want for him. No.
And on the back of Friday's interview, Paul Lambert did reiterate they hadn't met the value, and Marcus Evans had no reason to sell or was under no pressure to sell. So until they do so, he won't be going anywhere, which is okay. But equally, I'd like to see a bit of proactiveness from Town, and you've got to be realistic. Does
that lead to another question? That supposedly no one hits this magic 4 million mark, wherever it's supposed to be, and he doesn't go. Is his head going to be right?
No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I've got no evidence to say he would be nothing but 110% Flynn Downes. There's no evidence out there at all. Matt, watch me here and pull me back if I go into legal territory. But is this a little bit of propaganda? Because the club he's a valuable asset. But you don't want to come out and say we're not playing him because we want to sell him. You're gonna, I'm not calling anybody a liar, but Flynn Downes is 110%. It doesn't. What I've seen from him in the press and on the pitch doesn't correlate to what I'm hearing, and doesn't correlate to anybody giving anything less than 110%. As I said in my tweet on Friday, whether he's here or at Selhurst Park in October, you're going to get 110% Flynn Downes.
Well, yeah, let's hope so. I like to think so. But are Palace actually going to up their bids to hit Evans' mark? Because if the rumours are true, the first bid was 1.2 million. They went to 1.6. So we can only presume the next one's going to be circa 2 million. That's still not going to turn for Town, is it?
See, another thing that gets my goat, a few years ago, Palace had nearly went to the wall, and now
that's the galling thing, Rich.
It is exactly. It's just
a smaller club than us, isn't it, mate? That's a smaller club than us.
Definitely.
Yeah. So before I get Matt's go, I just want to jump on a few comments. Rob Purley, be shame seeing Downes off, but we need someone fully committed to the cause. Get the deal done. Louis Sharp, that's what I thought, Louis, as well. But Matt keeps saying 4 million. The club values him at 8 million. Harrison Yates.
He's only gone for 5.
We need to keep Bishop fit. We want to go into this season. Spot on. On Facebook, we've got well said, Cruncher. Don't want players you want to be here. Craig Verrar. Never say that again, Craig. Never say that again. Never ever encourage Cruncher to say to do anything. Adam Inez. We need to rotate the squad over September. Mark Dowling, Flynn Downes. If he does go to Palace, he won't be coming back here. He'd be loaned up to a championship club to improve.
Definitely.
They'd want him in the League Cup, whoever he'd be loaned to in the champ. Yeah.
Matt, what's your goat?
My goat this week is going back to my favourite person, Paul Lambert, and what I'm calling Lambert's Glasgow bravado.
Hang on.
No nice. I'll say that. It's no nice.
It's no nice. No nice.
Nice segue. Yes, Glasgow bravado. So I'm rewinding slightly back to Friday when he did his pre-match press conference for Bristol Rovers. Mm-hmm. I can't help but feel that Lambert constantly brings his.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Carry on. You're fine.
Yeah, Yeah, I can't help but think that Lambert constantly brings situations back to himself. So pre-match Friday, Bristol Rovers, he was asked the question about pressure. Does he feel pressure? That kind of thing. And, he said, I don't feel it at all. I'm not worried about anything. I don't get pressure one iota. That feels like this is the wrong answer for me, because he's just bringing it back to himself. I'd rather, it makes him sound like it's sort of devil may care. We did finish 11th in League One last season. And this devil may care attitude doesn't kind of wash with me. I'd like him to spin it back round and say the only pressure we feel is performing for the supporters, making sure we get this club back to where it belongs. And, we've seen elements of this over his complete tenure, really, going back to Norwich. Remember when he had the punch up on the touchlines at Norwich? And I think maybe at the time we felt, he was supporting the town. He was flying the flag for us. I think probably in reality that was Norwich past versus Norwich present. And then he's bust up with Steve Evans at Gillingham when he said at the end, I'm a real, what they call a real Glasgow man. So he just keeps bringing these situations when he's back to the ropes. He keeps bringing these situations back to himself. And I'd rather he brought them back to the club, which is what Bobby Robson would always do. We accept the pressure. We're competing on 3 fronts. We know our schedule is going to be hectic. We want to deliver for you supporters. That's what I want to be hearing.
Louis Sharp, are you my consciousness? Because exactly what I'm kind of thinking here. Let's be honest, even if he did feel pressure, he was never going to say it. And we all know what it was insinuating, Matt. We all know what sort of question that was insinuating. Don't forget, this is a man that's been sacked 4 times on Twitter this week. Yeah. All right? Those in the know have sacked him more times than Brett Favre got sacked, thanks to Adam Flack for that comment yesterday. So we all know what sort of pressure that was kind of alluding to.
Yeah, but I just feel like
he's not going to come out and say, yes, you know what, guys? I read Twitter. They're all over me on Twitter, all over me on social media. TWT is alight with how much I'm a hated figure. I can't even leave my front door. I'm that under pressure. I'm that scared. I'm that worried. No, he's going to come out and say, you know what? I'm a manager of X, Y, and Z years. I don't feel it. And I don't think for a minute he does. I don't think Mick McCarthy felt it either. I
feel then he should, because he's not steered the club in the direction we want to be going. We want to be getting back into the Championship. We're not sitting 11th in League One. So, I feel like he should. I mean, what do you get from pressure? In the end, you get diamonds, don't you? So what I want to see him is just bring that question back to the club. The pressure's there to deliver for these great fans, that kind of thing.
Okay, let's spin it. Let's spin it, right? No spin zone. Let's spin it for a second. He comes out and he says, I'm feeling real big pressure. So it's a huge job, huge task. Budget's quite tight. Downes is about to leave. It's real pressure, Rich. I'm really feeling it. Do you walk into yesterday's game thinking, we're okay? Or do you go...
No, but he's
not going to say... He ain't going to come out and say that, is he? We know he's not. He knows he is under pressure. But he's got to keep that inside, hasn't he? And he's got to battle this away, because when they ask these questions, are you a manager under pressure? He's not going to say, I think the cruncher says, I've only got 6 games. Better start winning. He's not going to come out with that, is he?
You give that different, are you a manager under pressure? The only pressure we feel is getting this club back to the Championship. Just spin it round to give it a positive, not all about me. I'm a real Glasgow man. I don't feel it. I'm not worried. I don't feel it. I don't want to hear that.
Do you know what, Matt? I'm going to play it again.
No nice. I'll say that. It's no nice.
But shout out to him for the 3-0 win. He gets all the credit for that. So well done, Paul.
My go is very simple. I've seen quite a lot of, we only played Bristol Rovers. They had none of this. They didn't have any of that. Don't get too excited. Don't get none of this. Just don't be that person, all right? Don't be that person today, okay? Because celebrate a win. Have this 48 hours where you feel euphoric. You step outside your front door on a Sunday morning. It's a crisp air and you go, yes, we won yesterday. I like it. Because you don't get many of these. Trust me, as a Town fan, you don't get many of these feelings. So don't go poo-pooing it and making it less than what it was. 3-0 win is a 3-0 win, and it needs to be treated as such. I don't care if you're playing Barcelona or the Dog and Duck on a Sunday morning. You win 3-0, you've got to celebrate it and just go, yes, and enjoy the euphoria. Until Rich goes on the radio Monday morning and ruins it all.
No, I'm going to be positive. I'm positive. It was a good performance, but let's not get carried away saying it was incredible, because it wasn't.
Hey, Rich, your Twitter thing was almost correct, wasn't it? A couple of goals. Let's have a good performance. Hopefully injury-free. You just fell short of that one.
That's what we wanted. A decent performance. We got it. We got 3 goals. We got it. We can't really ask for any more, can we?
No, totally agree.
Move on to the next game.
Facebook, Craig says, why would he feel pressure with the 5-year contract?
Very good point. Yeah, comfort zone. Very good point.
Well, Is your opinion? You've got your opinion. Get involved, guys, in the chat, or come on the show live and have your say. And Nick Muller, Ipswich always have sold players for the cheap. Are we going to jump into the second goal from yesterday and then media mogul? Let's do that. Second goal from yesterday.
The far right corner into the near post. Chambers heads it in. Excellent goal from the captain. A flashing header beyond Van Stappershoff. And with 90 seconds to go until half-time, Ipswich Town sitting pretty. They lead Bristol Rovers by 2-0, and the skipper's on the score sheet.
So here we go. Luke Chambers scoring a great header there from a judge corner. Nice to see us scoring from corners. But yeah, media mogul story is from Instagram. So last night, just scrolling through my Insta feed, and there it is. Look at that. Chambo. More love, less hate. And I read that very quickly and was thinking maybe just talking about, 2020 as a whole, what kind of year it's been and some of the issues we've seen on the news and all that kind of thing. But then if you look at the picture there, he's put his fingers in his ears. And if we look at some of the comments on there, people like Norwood, even Waghorn, Trevor Chalobah, John Nolan, Alan Judge, all showing support for that. And it got me thinking that maybe Chambers is, kind of privy to some of the criticism that he's been getting. He wasn't very good in that West Ham game. Got a lot of criticism, got some criticism from us. And he probably is it made me think he probably is looking at kind of social media and seeing some of the comments that are being said about him. And I feel like what he's saying there, Rich, is that appreciate me a bit more.
Or is he saying to a certain Irishman who came out?
Very good point.
Is he going that way? Because he's not going to be silly. He's not going to be silly. He's obviously heard that. And I know these players say, I don't read the newspapers. I don't look at social media. Yeah. Come on. You know they do. Or there's someone who is close to them is going to say, look, you're getting stick on Twitter. And they're going to know, aren't they?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I thought he played well yesterday, Chambers.
Do you know what? I think he was my man of the match yesterday. I'm going to give him some credit. I thought he was my man of the match yesterday.
But I think we have said before on here, he's a better right back than he is a centre back. He's a better right back.
Points, didn't you?
And it's interesting going forward to next week because I heard Lambert on Radio Suffolk after the game. He said, keep the jersey. If you play well and you win, you keep the jersey. So does that mean going forward, we come to Sunday, you can shake your head all you want, but
I can. It's my head.
We've just won 3-0. People like Alan Drinan, he was excellent yesterday. James Norwood played no football. Sit on the bench. Look, Drinan, I did come on here and say that. Just let me finish. I did come here and say Drinan won't play a competitive 90 minutes. So I've got a little bit of egg on my face, but he played really well yesterday. I think he deserves to keep the shirt for the next game. Because this is the mistake that we made last season. We kept chopping and changing, and look what happened. Everyone was moaning that we were rotating. So we've just won 3-0. Keep that same team for next week.
Rich, Rich and Martin, who were your man of the matches yesterday then? I'm giving it to Chambers because he had that lovely pass to Bishop for the third goal, scored the goal himself. Good to see.
Before we go there, I just want to touch on the Chambers point very quickly. I personally read it as he was blocking out the noise, and he was more or less saying to the people on social media who have sacked his manager more times than Brett Favre got sacked, you ain't getting in here. You ain't coming in this dressing room through here. We're blocking you out. And Louis Sharp almost on my thunder there. He's almost the same sort of thoughts. Celebrated it all in Chambers. They see Twitter 100%. And I think that's right. I do. I think he's more saying we're blocking out the noise because there's been a lot of for only 3 seasons. There's been a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And we all know this week what was going on social media wise, people on strings, etc. But the fact that someone can just say Lambert's going tomorrow, defo info, and the whole fan base is kind of like the way it reacted.
It's unbelievable.
Thank you. It certainly is. More unbelievable than Richard Moss saying that James Norwood or Caden Jackson should be kept on the bench while Aaron Drinan runs up front. Like, he played well.
They've played no football, Martin. They've played no football, them two.
Yeah, exactly.
No football. We want come in, earn the right to stay in that team by playing well. He played well yesterday. Look, he should have scored. He should have took his chance. But why is he not deserving to keep that shirt for the next game?
I'll tell you why he's not deserving.
Town stretching. Bristol Rovers. In come Judges. Early ball towards Dryden, who should score, but Van Staff.
If that's your one chance in a League One fixture and you get a 0-0 and not a 1-0, that's the reason. He's a good player, but he's young, he's raw. Come him off the bench. Bring him on off the bench. Do
you want to play how many one-on-ones James Norwood missed last season then? Have you got all them?
Well, you've been banging on with something about having a groin injury. Oh, he's been carrying a groin. He can carry a groin.
Right, so he had a groin operation in, was it February?
Yeah.
Is his leg hanging off or something? We are now in September and he's still not ready to play football. I know we've had a pandemic and he's put his recovery back, but come on, get on the football field. This is another thing we should touch on. The amount of injuries we get. I know Matt's got his theories about it.
I'll ask you a question, Matt. Those injuries. Speak to Rich about your thoughts on those injuries. I'll ask you a question in a second.
I mean, it's a funny one, isn't it? I mean, I can't help but think that we're being let down in our sports science, or however it is behind the scenes, or even you touched on it last week, Rich, with Kane Vincent Young, and they said, "Oh, the pitches are just too hard." Well, they're not training down the wreck, are they? Like you said, last week. It's just a really weird setup. I don't know if other clubs are getting this amount of injuries. Certainly in pre-season, it's baffling to me. And it happened in McCarthy's era as well, didn't it? So it's not a new thing to pull. No. It's really frustrating.
Something's going on. Something's going on. It has been for a long, long time. It could be the sort of player you're bringing in. Are you bringing in players that have got a bit of a checkered injury history because they're a certain level of budget?
Vincent Young wasn't. He wasn't. Nor was Norwood, were they, really?
I don't think Norwood missed a game, did he, for Tranmere? Or give or take maybe a couple of games here and now.
But we don't see. But what we don't see is the medical report for the medical, right? So we don't see, like, do you remember Ruud van Nistelrooy famously signed for United but then didn't sign for United because his knee apparently was hanging by a thread or whatever. Then a couple of years later they did sign him. We don't see the medical report. If we see, if it says possible, are we taking the risk and saying, well, it's possible, a bit like Millwall and Bart's knee, or are we saying, because remember Amiobi didn't come under Jim Magilton because the medical report said something and they said, well, no, we're out. So we don't know the full facts of it. Nobody knows the full facts of it.
I think Norwood's had a couple of ops on that groin now. Didn't he miss the game after Fleetwood and then one in the new year as well?
Yeah, he's had two.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's frustrating, isn't it?
Another question I've got for you. Following Chambers' great game, and it was a great game from our captain. Played a fantastic ball for the third, which we'll show so soon. Would you play Vincent Young at left back and play Chambers at right back moving forward?
Where's Stephen Ward playing then?
Yeah, Ward done well yesterday. Fair play to Ward.
Great, but if it's a toss up between you've got to play 2 out of 3 and it's Ward, Vincent Young, and Chambers, I'd rather play Chambers right back, Vincent Young left back, and then play Wolfenden with one other, because Chambers for me is a better right back than a centre back. Always felt it, always thought it.
Stephen Ward will play every single league game if he's fit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. He did well yesterday, Ward, and don't forget he helped make the corner for the Chambers header. It
was right what Mick Mills said though on the commentary. You got the right back and the left back. They had no one to mark, did they?
No.
It was pretty comfortable. It was comfortable for him.
Yeah,
sterner test maybe. Yeah,
definitely.
I had a quick look at the Bristol Rovers chat, and they weren't impressed with the formation before the game. So it says its own story, really, doesn't it? I just thought, looking at it long term, Chambers has always been a better right back in my opinion. And if you've got to play the captain, some will say you haven't got to. I know I'm looking at 2 people here that probably would say the same. But if you've got to, then I would rather him play right back than alongside Wolfenden at centre half, where last year we were a little bit susceptible. And we know Vincent Young had played left back. We know that.
He's played 60 games for Colchester at left back.
Yeah.
So we do know that, don't we?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Should we play? I'll tell you what, I'll play the third goal actually as we're here, because it is a beautiful goal. Beautiful. Look at this for a team goal.
Yeah, and Baldwin, as the play's gone off, looks like they still kept their same shape. Little's just gone into the back 3. Ollie Hawkins is going to be making his Ipswich Town debut. He's going to get the final quarter of this match. The number 32 is ready to come on. Chambers looks for a ball forward to Bishop. Beautiful ball from Chambers. Lovely timed run from Bishop. Bishop into the centre looking for Sears. Sears knocks it in. 3-0.
Atrocious goalkeeping. I'm going to be honest.
It wasn't dissimilar to the first one, was it? With the ball down the right channel.
But do you know what was really pleasing yesterday? It was the philosophy, but it was the philosophy that wasn't rigid. It was occasionally you saw Holy go long, nearly caught him out. Then you see that type of goal. Midfield running from Bishop, fantastic to see that. That
was a great touch. The first touch from Bishop, you know, it makes it easy because he takes it on his left foot and then he opens up. It was a good finish from Freddie as well because he still had quite a lot to do.
Yeah, I sometimes feel Freddie wants too many touches in front of goal.
He had one, got a third, couldn't he should have hit. He controlled it, and then he took another touch.
A couple of touches, and the chance was gone. But yeah, they were good. They were good finishes, instinctive finishes. And again, we've been critical of him, haven't we, in pre-season? Has he got a future? But he was very good yesterday. Shout out Freddie, very good.
Yeah, I mean, back to Richard's point. I know he got a little bit, alpha malish there, but you make a good point. He says about coming out and winning the shirt and keeping the shirt. Now, Aaron Drinan aside, Bishop for me did well enough to keep the shirt. Dozell certainly did well enough to keep the shirt, and we saw glimpses yesterday.
A little bit weak in the challenge, isn't he, Dozell? Like defensively, like we've spoke before, and like Mick Mills said about him, if he's going to be the defensive midfielder, he's going to have to. Like I was listening to Rob yesterday. We're going to have times when we were away from home, we're going to be on the back foot and we're going to have to dig in. So he's going to have to learn, Andre, It's not all about...
He got away one, didn't he, when Nicholson got through and Holy had to make that really good save.
Well, he just let him run off him, didn't he?
Let him run through, didn't he? Yeah. But then you saw the other side of his game, that beautiful through ball for Ward over the top, and then got the corner for the Chambers goal. That was a fantastic, instinctive pass. Really good.
We ain't got no one else like that in midfield who can put them sort of balls through.
Really
no, I've got a pass here.
Man in attack, Dozell with a good ball over the top for Ward, who's onside inside.
That's just brilliant vision.
Really good. Really good.
And that's what he's about. But as Rich rightly says, and I've said previously, he can be very sloppy while he's sorting himself out. He's on one today, isn't he?
He's on one today, isn't he?
Well, as I said previously, in possession, he can be a little bit sloppy. And Richard's a lightweight there. Do you play him?
It's those kind of touches that give you that kind of, we've said it before, that kind of quarterback role, the Magilton-esque role, where you're sort of seeing, you've seen the pitch as a wider hole and floating those balls through. Fantastic to see, really good. Oh, it gets you off your seat stuff back, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what you want to see in it as a fan. That's what you want to see. But Magilton had a tackle on him. Magilton had strength.
Yeah. Jim was fiery.
Dozell is more laid back, and that's his character, and that's fine. But you need to play somebody with him, particularly away from home. There's a little bit more of a crunch.
So maybe people on Facebook and in the comments can tell us who would you partner in. Do you bring Scoot back into that role?
It's going to be Scoos. It's going to be Scoos away from home.
Yeah,
I don't see anyone else who does that job.
Yeah,
at the minute that we've got in the squad, and if Downes goes, are we going to sign anyone in his mould to replace him? At the minute, we're going to have to let people go before we get anyone in.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. And Downes doesn't count against a salary cap, so you're not going to get any relief there either. Interestingly. So back onto Facebook, Ryan Martin doesn't agree with me whatsoever about playing Vincent at left back. That's absolutely fine. I'm really right.
You could see it though. You could see it as the season progresses. We could see that kind of combination. Yeah.
Well, before Luke Penning, had his moments through pre-season. I wouldn't have even said it, but Luke has kind of opened our eyes to him playing left back. So it's not a million miles away. Let's jump. Where do you want to go now? It's my turn, isn't it? I haven't got a takeaway this week. I just want to play the music. That was all. I want to feel part of the team. I could say John Nolan. I could go there, but I probably won't. Let's go Freddie Sears. Freddie Sears, for me, had a really good game. Fantastic game. Back post is where I see Freddie getting a lot of his goals this year. It's interesting to note he wasn't played centrally with the injuries. He was still played out wide on the left. And I've had a few conversations through the summer about where I see Freddie sees his best position being, and more importantly, where I think Paul Lambert sees his best position being. And I've said, and I'll say it again, I think Lambert sees him as more of a left-sided inside forward.
Definitely. He won't play. He won't play centrally.
Well,
I've been told I'm wrong by many a person. But
I did think for a moment, I said to you boys on WhatsApp when I saw the team, I did suddenly think, my God, is Freddie going to partner Drinan maybe we're going to go 4-4-2 because of the injuries, which wouldn't have made any sense at all. He's not played that formation at all in pre-season. But yeah, he's kind of at the far post Raheem Sterling style, isn't he? And the proof is in the pudding. He scored 2 goals. So fair play.
The proof is in the pudding, and he's got a role to play in that position. I didn't think in the summer when we did our squad review that he maybe would have a role, but no. I didn't see so many injuries coming up, and it's a good place to be, isn't it? Having a player like Freddie.
Are we thinking that Jackson will take that role when he comes back to fitness? Is that where we're seeing Jackson in this?
Yeah, I did, but at the minute, them wide roles, you've got to score goals. So whoever's playing in it, we can't just be relying on that central striker. They've got to score goals. And I think, like Martin said there, coming into that far post, Freddie's going to get a few goals. Jackson, where do we fit him in? Does he play on the right? I don't know. Maybe, look, we do need options off the bench. Who's going to be your central striker? Is it going to be Norwood? Is it going to be Hawkins?
Is it going to be
Drinnen? Is it going to be Drinnen? Drinnen at the minute.
I think it'll be Drinnen on Tuesday against the Arsenal 23.
Yeah, I do as well. Let's hear Paul Lambert's thoughts on. I've got 4 clips left to play. I've got Lambert on Chambers, Lambert on Dozell, or Lambert on Ward and Drinnen. Who do you want first?
Ward and Drinnen.
Yeah, go on. That's good.
If you start with Ward, I just think he's a top player, and I've said it before, or I say it again. He's in his 30s, and if we had him a few years before, you can tell he's pure class. Hardly gives it away. Just a terrific player, terrific leader of the game. More importantly, top guy, and his performance, I think, was absolutely superb. And Aaron Drinnen, I thought was different. He's been great in pre-season, and I had no problem about him starting. His effort, work rate, the rawness of him is a great asset. So really happy how they 2 guys fitted in.
2-1 there.
Yeah, I wonder if he caught himself there. I wanted to say different gravy or different class, because he caught himself. I don't know if you noticed that. Drinnen, he said Drinnen was different and then caught himself. And I wonder if he was going to say different gravy or different class. But if we start on Ward, I'm going to probably eat a little bit of humble pie, or a little bit of pie, a little bit of crow, whatever you want to call it. I was against signing Ward big time. However, after one game, it's only one game, but he was up and down that left flank more times than I thought he would be, more times than I thought he'd have legs for. And as Paul Lambert says there, it's a class act, both in terms of the way he keeps the ball, his positioning. It reminded me yesterday, rightly or wrongly, of a David Unsworth type signing.
Yeah, very good.
He knows it all up here, and he'll put himself in the position so he ain't got to be a yard off with the pace.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a really good comparison. I was pro Ward coming in, as you know. I can only presume that Lambert, in the 6 months where we've not played any games, was sat there thinking we need some more leadership figures. We've said it before, haven't we? It's a quiet team if you take Scoos and Chambers and Flynn out of the mix. So he now gives us that. I mean, captained us against Colchester in that first game, didn't he? So he now gives you that other dimension. And it was good seeing him up and down, because I think some of the feedback we'd had from Stoke supporters said his legs are gone, he won't get up and down the touchline, and he did. So fair play to him.
I want to see him up against someone who's a bit nippy and quick on that right hand side to see what he's like then, because yesterday he really had both fullbacks had a free run, didn't they? Down there, and he nearly scored a goal first half, got forward, but no, he knows what he's doing. He knows where to go. He knows where to be on the pitch. He's got a loud voice, obviously, and if he can stay fit, like I said previously, he'll play every single league game. I can't see Miles Kenlock he won't get a look in, apart from maybe the cup games.
No, 50 caps for Ireland speaks for itself, doesn't it? Not many people in the League One have got international class like that.
No, definitely not. I mean, we've got 2 of them, haven't we? With Judge as well. I do wonder. Richard's point is very good there, really, when he says about a nippy winger. But I think it depends on what sort of nippy winger. Is it a young nippy winger, like a Dobra, for example? Or is it more of an experienced player? Because if it's a young player, I think his know-how.
He can bully him.
Will just show him the ways he needs to show him. If it's somebody that played a few more years, I think he may struggle. It'd be an interesting battle to see. But it's nice to have him on our team. And I didn't think I'd say that a month ago.
I agree.
It's nice to have him on our team.
Definitely.
Aaron Drinnen is another player I might be saying in a month's time. It's nice to have on our team. He had some good runs in behind, which is something you want to see, especially with a midfield three behind him and two wingers. I just don't know about his clinical edge. I just worry that if you only create one chance, and I know Neil said if it's only one chance a game, that's not the striker's fault, and it's not the striker's fault. But I worry that if you only create one,
that's where you're the best strikers, aren't you, Martin? If you have one chance and you put it away, you've done your job.
He had a shot early doors in the first half, didn't he? Inside the first 10 minutes, I remember he had a little turn and a shot. I feel like maybe that second half one, not that I'm anyway qualified to
should have headed it.
What strikers should be doing, but I feel like maybe he was a little bit too square on, which is why he hit it straight at the keeper. Maybe if he'd been a little bit sideways and sweeped it in, maybe he'd have given him more of an opportunity.
I think he should have gone with his head. I thought he should have gone with his head.
It was
a bit like, does he need to go with his foot? And obviously he should have scored. Oh, look, I want to see more of him. But I didn't really rate him. What I've seen, I thought he linked
really rich in the pre-season stuff.
I thought he done well. He linked the play well yesterday as well, and I think he can play that role. Where if you had a Caden Jackson, I don't think he could play that role. Not central striker on his own.
No, I think Drinan would need he needs a partner. I think he had a partner, more of a. If you play Jackson and Drinan, then Jackson can be the off Baldwin shoulder sort of striker, and Drinan, can come into midfield and create space. But let's be honest, right? A month ago, if I'd said to you, Norwood, Jackson, Drinan, you would have said no. Norwood, Jackson, Simpson, or Norwood, Jackson, whoever. He's jumped ahead of a few players in a couple of games, so. He's making strides.
But I think if you're saying he should have someone alongside him, I don't think we're going to play like that this season. He's going to stick to that 4-3-3. I feel you're going to have one central striker, and then you're going to have your wide strikers. You're going to have Sears, and then the right hand side. Who are you going to play on the right hand side? If Freddie's on that left, who are you going to have? Guion Edwards? Would he play Lancaster?
Surely, whoever plays that central role is going to be bringing in pace from the sides, isn't it? You're setting up those wide men, those fast wide men, aren't you?
Definitely.
I mean, that's Jackson's best asset, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Freddie's more. I look off the bench. I'm comfortable with that. You want to go with pace really, because if you're looking about Stephen Ward, other teams have, either defenders that are more no nonsense or a bit elderly. So you want to go with pace really, don't you? I just mentioned this because you're having some technical difficulties there, Cruncher, aren't you?
Well, I was listening away and then I couldn't hear.
Yeah, so don't forget, guys.
Am I right in thinking the Carabao Cup draw is taking place right this minute?
Yeah, I've got it on. Nothing's happening yet.
Nothing's happening. Yeah. So you can donate to the stream via Ko-fi. Link the badge is just there. Look, donate on Ko-fi. A donation obviously will help the stream because I think Crunch is having some big technical difficulties there.
No, I've got the iPad headphones. I don't know what's going on.
You sound good.
Yeah, you do sound good, but you keep going. So
I always sound good.
If you want to make sure Cruncher stays in a stream, then donate £1 or $2. But let's go to Lambert on Chambers.
Well, it was his hamstring, but I don't know if it's a cramp hamstring. So, but what I thought was excellent. I thought the two fullbacks were very, very good. Nsiala and Wilfred were excellent, strong, aggressive, power. Everything in their game was excellent. As I said, Luke and Ward on the other side, terrific. And the amount of work Luke done it. You got to remember, Luke's been playing centre half. But when you come into the wide area, it's a different role, but how he played was excellent.
Lambert on Paul Chambers there. A really good game from Luke, really good, solid pros game. We discussed the right back, left back situation. How do you see this playing out in terms of Luke Chambers this year? What are you feeling? Because is he still one of the top two centre halves? Is he now a right back? Is he going to play more of a captain's role from the bench? What do you want from Luke Chambers this year? What do you expect?
Well, that's a difficult one, isn't it? We've not actually seen him in a competitive game in that centre-half role for this season. So at the moment, like I said earlier, he was my man of the match yesterday. So continue him in that role until Kane Vincent-Young proves he can get back into the side. It'd be unfair for Chambers to lose his slot just because Kane's back fit again.
I think if Vincent-Young's fit, he plays, doesn't he?
Well, I hope so, because I want him to score goals.
Yeah, he's got that 10 goals you said.
8 minimum.
So, and then is he the best centre half with Wolfen? Because they done the poll the other day in the East Anglian. I think did Corey and Dabba come out top, him and Wolfen? Did they win the poll?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
See, that's if we really believe in the youth going forward. You can shake your head. You're shaking your head a lot at me today, aren't you?
We're talking nonsense.
If you believe in your youngsters, look, we're in League One now, Martin. We always say about sending the youngsters out to get some experience. If you're a Championship team, yeah, you can send them to League One or League Two. We have to realise we're a League One side here. So, Corey and Dabba, is he not good enough to play in League One?
He looks the part. So he looks the part.
I like Corey. I think Corey's got a big future ahead of him. I think this year could be the year for someone like Corey and Dabba to break through. And I think I tweeted him that this morning. I struggle because I don't see Luke Wolfenden going out of the team anytime soon, which is fantastic to hear and fantastic to say. I don't know if I want to trust a young player.
I can definitely see where you're coming from, but I think sooner or later you have to trust these young players. You have to give them their head. Is he better than a James Wilson? Yes.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Is he better than a Toto?
Not on recent performances. I've got to be honest.
Toto's done all right. To be fair. How he's been training, but he looks a different style of player to me at the moment.
But equally, you've got such an investment in Toto and Ciala that you've got to give him at least 12 months to force his way back in. And
he's had 2 seasons. He's had 2 seasons, Martin. If he should be in the team now and nailed it down,
he probably would have gone to football if they could have afforded it.
You said earlier,
wow,
the mistake he made yesterday. You know, he had a decent game, but there's always that one mistake in him. And it normally leads to a goal, or he gives away a penalty.
The blind,
exactly
catastrophic. That's Toto, isn't it?
So you never know what you're going to get with him. I hope that he has a solid season and proves us all wrong, because he's got it all, hasn't he, for a centre half. He's got the attributes. Look at him physically. He's got everything there. His pace. He's strong. Look at the ball he played yesterday. Did we know he's got that? Did we know that he's got that in his locker?
Yeah.
Who?
Toto.
Sorry, I was reading the chats, the comments at the same time, and I was trying to. I got Indaba in my mind and Toto in my ears.
I do feel like I do agree with Rich though. We have got to give youth a chance. I've been reading a lot about Bielsa and as Leeds going to the Premier League, and that's always been his main remit. Give youth a chance. That's what he's built that Leeds team on, and teams that he had be it in Mexico and Argentina and in Spain, giving that youth an opportunity.
I would have liked
youth players. Forget.
I would have liked to have seen Indaba play yesterday at left-sided, bring a bit of balance to it, but Toto played and he did really well. I do watch a lot of under-23s football. I'm always at Playford Road on my own. They need to open up a tee up there. They really do. It's not great facilities when you go up and it's freezing cold. He is a good player. But is
exactly.
it... How about this for a question for you? Why do Town struggle in loaning players out? Because we've had a lot of young players over the years, but when they've gone out on loan, it's always been... No disrespect to any of these clubs.
They never play. You've got to
Why do we struggle to put our young players into Football League clubs?
Yeah, but look at Ben Morris. Ben Morris went to Forest Green. Hardly played. Ben Falami went to Stevenage. Hardly played. You've got to find a club where these kids are going to go and they're going to play, because it's no good them sitting on the bench. It really isn't. Luke Wolfenden, though, you could spin it around. Luke Wolfenden went to Swindon.
Yeah. But are we bigging up these young? But are we bigging up these young? Are we doing like the old British player tax system, where you an English player is always worth twice as much as he's really worth because he's English? Are we bigging up Town academy prospects bigger than perhaps they necessarily are at the time?
I just wonder when they go to these non-league sides like Chelmsford, for example, which is my local team. I wonder if they stay training with Town.
I think they do sometimes. Yeah, I think they train with Town.
They only train a couple of times a week, I would have thought, maximum. So I just wonder whether or not it suits Ipswich, to see them go out on loan to these non-league sides, but they retain their development, their training.
See,
yes,
I like that point there from Lewis Sharp. So I said last week, if he played the youngsters last season and say we had finished 8th like that, I think he'd get a lot more leeway from the fans.
Yeah,
than playing the tried and trusted and people.
You've got momentum to break to the top 6, then, haven't you, Rich? You're
building something, and with Corey and Dabba, hopefully we're going to get out this league this season, and then we'll be a Championship team. So wouldn't you rather he gets the experience this season, and then he's ready to go next season when we're in the Championship?
I can't think back this far. Titus Bramble just appeared from nowhere, didn't he, on that opening day against Spurs in the Premier League? I don't recall him playing much previously to that.
He didn't really.
No, he didn't, because he was there. He was at Wembley, wasn't he? Because I remember in the team photo on the pitch, he's there. And when he was on the balcony after when they were in the corner, he was there. So obviously they knew about him, but he was never loaned out.
It was Wayne Brown, wasn't it?
Richard Wright, another one I said last week. He was 17 years of age. He played against Coventry, and look where he ended. So sooner or later, you have to say, right, you're good enough. You're going to be in the team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with it, but equally, there seems to be this big conspiracy feeling amongst football fans in general, really. Oh, he's not playing youngsters because I've never met a manager or known a manager to not play his strongest team, regardless of how old they are. If they were ready, a manager with all his badges, all his knowledge, you may laugh at that because you may not like the manager at the time, but they want to win football games. They are judged on performances. They don't care if Corey and Darby, Jack Lancaster, Billy Baggs, Joe Bloggs, if they're 17 or 34, they're going to play them. They're going to pick them. There's no conspiracy theory.
But then you have an owner. Who has a 5-point plan. Of one of them points is playing the youngsters.
Yeah, it is. So
Christy makes the point for me. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and I think that's what managers. I know that's what managers go by. On Marcus Evans, how are we feeling about him getting more involved in footballing decisions? That terrifies me. I'm not going to lie.
I totally agree with you. When I read that, and he's admitted himself he doesn't know anything about football. So
I think it's just to say that, to go back to that 5-point plan, the principles that he's put in place, these pillars of how Ipswich are going to move forward. I think he wants to make sure that's happening. That's how I would read it.
I'm worried, Matt, because you've got a ticket man there in Marcus, and you've got a PE teacher. and they are in very influential roles at our football club.
Yeah. Well, Marcus is always going to be influential, isn't he? He's the owner of it. But I think he's just making sure. I actually think it's good. I'm pleased that he's showing his face around the training ground, because I think for the very first few years of his tenure at Town, he wasn't seen ever at all.
No chance.
It was always video link. I don't think for any minute he's going to go up to Paul Lambert and tell him what the I'm not agreeing there, Adam. I love your comments, mate, but I'm not agreeing there. I think it's just making sure that those principles are being laid down.
He's doing the defensive midfield role. That's what he's. There you go.
Oh, it's taken 54 minutes, but you finally come through, Adam. Come on, good work.
Going back to the point of if you're, old enough, good enough, that kind of thing. Wolves are about to smash their transfer records, bringing an 18-year-old in from Porto.
Well, let's bring Facebook in a minute, because you've got Ryan Martin. We should have thrown the kids in as soon as relegation was confirmed in the Championship. Would have given them a couple of months in the Championship, and we would have seen who was up to it in League One.
Yeah.
David Blowers. When you play for Chelmsford, it's a YTS loan, so you can play for Chelmsford and the Town under 23.
We've had a lost season. We've had a lost season last season. We've had a lost season, haven't we, really?
Ben Moore, if Lambert was to play out the back, then trust in Darby and Wolf with Ward at fullback. Maybe Chamber at right back would help them. I do get your point about Evans, and I love those comments on Facebook, guys. Keep them coming in as we close the show soon. But I just don't know. Like you're a musician, Matt. Okay, I pay for the studio. I want you to record some music, and then I turn up in the studio and I say, no, don't do it this way. Do it that way. Don't do that. Don't do this. Do it this. I'm not a musician. But so
I get that, but we've still got no evidence of what the conversations are, so we can only presume that he's laid down an attacking brand of football with the youth involved, and he's making sure that's happening. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Someone says I got Town promoted last in an FM playing our youngsters.
Nice.
Send your CV in.
We got a lot of them, haven't we? Who play Football Manager, who think they know what they're on about.
I know Evans. We give Evans a hard time, but again, I said it on the very first pod, didn't I? It's better the devil you know. Look at our opposition for next Sunday, Wigan.
Joe Garner, 2 goals yesterday. I was watching the highlights. Gary Roberts is back there. Still no manager.
Probably Will Keane will sign.
Well, he's training, isn't he? So
do you remember that time we heard about Wigan nearly going to the wall and all this sort of talk? And then you look at their squad list.
Still got decent players.
That's not a bolt on the squad list from a year ago, is it?
No, it's not.
They're going to be a force still. It depends on the manager. Who is in charge there? Do we know yet?
Lee Richardson. He's temporary manager.
Oh, okay. Ryan Martin. The issue with Evans is that when we are doing well, he is vocal. And when you see him, when things are going pear-shaped, he goes missing. He was at Wimbledon last year, and fans didn't really give him anything to chew over, which was surprising. So I think it's a little bit harsh. I think Evans is there when he needs to, when he wants, when he can be, and I think Evans is not there when he can't be. But he keeps a track on the town. Speaking as we close today's show, it's been a fantastic show. I've really enjoyed it. Plenty of comments flying in. As we close today's show, I want to close it with man of the match questions. So, Rich, who was your man of the match?
I think if you play, you score 2 goals, you're going to get man of the match. So, Freddie, I'd give him a red. I thought he played very well yesterday, and he's nailed down his place for next Sunday. Matt, who is your man of the match?
I've already said it. I'm going to give it to Chambers, who's playing back in a position that he's not played in for a few seasons. Scored a great goal, looked like it was a training ground goal. He made that run early and fixed it in at the near post. And he put the pass through to Bishop for the third. So shout out Chambers, fantastic.
Apparently the South draw is now happening. So
I'm watching live. Don't worry.
Just go back to the comments while we get that. Andrew Laws. How can Marcus Evans own a club for over 10 years and still not say he doesn't know about football? Who does he get his information?
There you go. Ipswich are at home.
Ooh, dead air.
Number 9, Ipswich Town will play Fulham.
There we go.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's good. That'd be a good test. Test.
Fulham at home. Right. Great draw. Yeah, I love that draw. That's a really good draw. Yeah, good test that. Hopefully, see a couple of, our main team, if you like. Or you give Aaron Dryden another chance and you say go and impress against better opposition, But Tuesday, coming up, Arsenal under 21s. Before I give my man of the match, what are you thinking about that? Same team as yesterday? Maybe a few changes? Maybe.
I think Lambert actually said in one of the interviews, I think it was in East England today, was quoted as saying it will still be a strong side. So that's good to hear.
It should be a strong side because you've got to look at the 7 who were on the bench. I think they'll probably all play. You got Norwood. Would you give Norwood 45? You got Hawkins needs a game. Yeah. Jackson needs a game.
Yeah.
I think you just go with what you've got, apart from Cornell coming in for Holy because it's a standard, sort of swap. Maybe Chambers drops out. If you have to play a young right back, you play a young right back. If Donatian's not fit enough,
Wilson at right back,
or Wolfenden at right back. Either one, you play both there. You just protect people, so you just keep it fresh. Maybe Judge comes out of the lineup for El Mizani or Dobra. El Mizani wasn't there yesterday. We don't know what's going on there. We won't.
I still think he's going to go on loan. I get this impression. I don't know why.
Yeah, I do. So my man of the match was Frederick Sears. Fantastic game. Loved it. Love to see Freddie back amongst it. And of course, you mentioned FM players and you mentioned Twitter people, etc. We've always been told they don't work on patterns of play. They don't work on shape. They don't work on any of that normal stuff. Well, let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, definitely. We've been working that for quite a while now. We're doing a lot of patterns of playing in training, and that's a lot of the stuff we've been working on, crosses across the box and the wingers in at the back post, and thankfully today I've gotten the end of 2 of them and we've won the game.